All right, this is part two. When I found out that my cousin was pregnant for my baby's father, I somewhat both of them. I had so many questions in my mind, and I wanted them to be the ones to answer. When I have like scores to settle or closure to do, I go to the source. I don't use the middleman, unless of course I don't have a choice. They couldn't come in person. They were in Yaoundé. My cousin, she stayed in Yaoundé until she was due. Then she came home. I mean, her home in Babinda and gave birth. So I spoke with them on the phone. And this is a summary of what I found out. This was the fourth time she was getting pregnant for my baby's father that year, in the space of 1 year. They aborted the first three pregnancies figures because he wanted me to abort mine. And the fourth one, they went for an abortion, but the doctor told her that it's too risky. She may lose her life if she persists with this abortion. She was forced to keep the pregnancy. I asked her, like, what the hell? Why four? Didn't you learn your lesson the first, the second, and the fourth time? What preventive measures were you using that was obviously not working? She said that I remember this girl, she's almost 2 years older than I am. She said that after they are intimate, she would put salt in water and drink it. The intention is that the salty water will flush out the sperm. And it didn't work the first time. It didn't work the second time. And the third time. For some reason, you thought that it was going to work the fourth time. Anyway, she was not sorry for what she did. She insulted me pretty much a lot. It pissed me so much that when I found out that she was in Babinda, I was still in Babinda. I wanted to go to Yaoundé and pay her a visit, but I didn't know where she was living, and I couldn't. I tried to find where she was living. I couldn't get where she was living in Yaoundé. So when she came to Bamenda, I went to their house and I told her, and I hope that your fast mouth will be fast when I'm there, because the beating that I will give to you, I went with my daughter. My daughter was almost 2 years old at that time. I saw her mom outside doing laundry. That didn't change anything in my plans. I was still planning to give her the beating of her life. I went inside. She was sitting in the living room. She was breastfeeding her son. She had a son for my baby's father. I was just waiting for her to finish breastfeeding, put that child down, and get the beating of her life. Because the way I was vibrating, you saw the insults that this girl threw at me from the distance. But when I was there, all of a sudden, she became very quiet, very polite. I didn't change my plans. The only thing that changed my plan, because she knew I was there to beat her like the only thing that changed my plan was that she refused to she refused to put the baby down. They finished breastfeeding the baby was sleeping on her chest. And I told her, go and put the baby down. She refused. So she knew that that was the only thing protecting her. I couldn't beat her when she was carrying the baby. She refused. I was sitting there with I was waiting. She didn't. Her mom came in. I could tell that her mom was really still very angry at her. Her mom spoke to her so bitterly. Hearing her mom say all these things to her, and from what her mom was saying to her, I found out that she had a suitor who was in the US, and the suitor was fixing to come and do the traditional rites on her. And of course, what happened has just destroyed everything, and that really pissed her mom off. And also, it's family. She is getting pregnant for a man that already has a child with her cousin. Like, who does that? And her father is a very reputable person. He's very rich and very reputable. Her mom spoke to her. She even insulted her. She scolded her so much for such a long time. Mom was so pissed that she was vibrated. That kind of soothed my anger at that time. Before I went to visit her, I was planning to leave the country because I could not take it psychologically. I had already applied for my visa to leave and travel to the United Arab Emirates. The visa took so long, it took like 3 months to come out. My visa was out at that time, and I was going to see her to get closure. And if British I was going to get that closure, I would do that before I travel to go and start a new life in a foreign country. The way her mom spoke to her, and her mom forced her to give me an apology, which she very reluctantly did, very, very reluctantly. It kind of gave me some closure. I made my daughter hold her son. At the end of the day, they are siblings, even though I don't know how to describe it. So Help me describe this relationship. The son of my baby's father and my second cousin. How do you describe the relationship with my daughter and her son? So let me know, because until this day, this happened almost a decade ago, and I still don't know. I still don't know the term to describe this relationship. I haven't told my daughter yet. My daughter is now 12 years plus. At the end of April, she'll be 13 years old. So this was a long time ago. I will only tell her when she's 18, at least 18 years old. She's not on TikTok or anything. And if she finds out before then, it's okay. I trained her to have very mature way of thinking. If she finds out, that's okay. If she doesn't, I have to tell her when she's 18 years old. So I need to know the term to describe her other sibling, pretty much. We left, came back. As for her father, I told him, please just stay away from us, stay away from our lives. We don't need you, we never did. It's not like you were there anyway, even if we needed you, so just stay away from us. So I came to the UAE, I kept him out of my daughter's life. When she was 3 years old, something hit me. I was thinking like, what if my daughter grows up to an adult? I tell her everything and she thinks I'm the bad person, that I did not have the right to keep her father away from her. What will I do? After going through all of this, I don't want to be the enemy in her eyes. So I let her have access to her father. He was requesting also from his side. He kept requesting and begging to have access to her. So I let them have access to each other. It wasn't what he said it was going to be. He wasn't there financially. He wasn't there even to chat with her. Sometimes she would send messages, she would not respond. Fast forward, when she was 10 or 11 years old, she went to Cameroon. She goes to Cameroon frequently, once a year, not frequently. And she tries to make sure she meets with him to rekindle the relationship. But when she went to Cameroon this one time, she sent him a message that she's in Cameroon. He did not respond. For over a year, he did not respond to that message. If you check their WhatsApp, that is still the last message on their WhatsApp. He did not respond. He did not come to see her. He did not do anything. And my daughter went through a lot of psychological trauma, like why is she rejected by her father and all of that. So when he finally decided to reach out to me, I told him to just stay the hell away from our lives. When she's an adult, she will look for him if she wants to see him. But for now, stay out of our lives. We didn't need you then. We don't need you now. My husband is a great father to my daughter. Thank you for watching.
Now, once again, welcome to Evangelist Nimakalu TV Treasury of Excellent Knowledge. This is second part of fornication and its problems. Fornication and its problems. That is just a hint of lusts and their problems. Sexual lust. That fornication falls under sexual lust and its problems. Then it is just a sub-branch of sexual lust and its problems. I made part 1 of this video, and in this part 2, we have had the story of the same lady. And I will make the part 3 of it, then I will pause. I will pause if I will continue on fornication and its problems. I will no longer use a video. After the part 3, I will begin to use other videos. There are lots of things to teach upon. So then, there are lots of unforeseen problems. And there are also seen problems. Problems that can be visualized while involved in fornications, and lots of problems that the fornicators cannot visualize while they are into fornication. Some of them, they visualize them before they will engage into fornication, into life of fornication, while both before and inside of the life of fornication, they cannot visualize some of the problems that fornication carries. From the video that I have played, first of all, the same young man impregnated her and her cousin. The same young man have a child with her and her cousin, which I explained in detail in the first part. But now we can see contention rising between two cousin sisters because of one man who have impregnated the both of them. So it has resulted in two cousin sisters dragging over who will win a particular man they have got pregnant to out of wedlock. Let us remember that this lady is a pastor's daughter. So both the Christians and the non-Christians, those who claim to be committed with Christianity, a lot of them are still in the same life of fornication, life of adultery. Fornication and adultery is a rampant event among the Christians today. Then go to the world, that is where the matter gets worse. But no people really always focus on the problems that may emanate from sexual immorality. I am specific on fornication. Look at two cousin sisters. That is building up a fight among themselves over who will win that particular young man. They are not married to him, or he's not married to them. And the man never really cared for them. Their inability to discipline themselves over sex, the man's own inability to discipline himself over his sexual life has caused all of these problems. She is asking whether her daughter he had with the man and the daughter her cousin had with the man will be regarded as cousins also among them, or what word can be used to address them as two different children coming from different mothers, but of cousin mothers being impregnated by one man. I may not know the perfect word, but I will say the two children they have for the same man, they are half sisters and they are also cousins. Since the two of them are cousins, I mean the two ladies who gave birth to them, they are cousins coming from the different wombs of the same cousin. They are cousins because her own daughter, I mean the reporter, is a cousin to a daughter of her cousin. Or maybe if there is, and there may be better word, but what I'm sure is that they are half sisters, since they are of one man. Biologically, they are daughters of the same man, so they are half sisters. They are half sisters. But it is abominable, it is a taboo, both in the Bible, traditionally, in the church, everywhere. It is a taboo. Normally, two sisters should not get married to one particular man, even if the man is to practice polygamy. No two relatives should get married to one particular man, even if the man should practice polygamy. According to God, according to the Bible, it is a taboo, and traditionally also. So this is what their fornication life has resulted into. She also prepared to go and beat her cousin sister up. That is her bragging. That is her bragging. So I thank God they never really fought or she never really beat her up, because who can really tell what the end of the whole beating stuff will be? Whether it will in the end being her cousin sister beating her up instead, or the two of them fighting, and in the end they will sustain injuries. And when that happens, they will create enmity among themselves more than they already have, because now there is enmity between them. No matter how they will reconcile, they will always never forget, and most especially herself, who was the first girlfriend to this man we are talking about. And there is no real commitment from that man. Even if the man might have, okay, according to her, she surrendered to her cousin sister and asked them to get married between themselves if they wanted to. Because do you see the shame? Her to discover that her cousin sister was pregnant for that man, and the cousin sister had already aborted three pregnancy for that man. And in the real sense, forget about all this political legalization and iniquitous legalization in the government and whatsoever. In the real sense, an abortion is a murder. The act of abortion is a murder, is an act of murder. So the aborting of three pregnancy is as the same of killing three children by her cousin sister. So by fornication and abortion, the practitioners are committing murder. They are taking lives. God says, you shall not kill. So step by step, the fornication, the lust, which compelled them to be living the fornication life, resulted in them having contention among them, resulted in them committing murder by abortion, resulted in them creating grudges and enmities among them, bringing shame to their families. She also reported that a man came from the United States to come and marry her cousin sister, a man who knew her cousin sister, only for the man to meet her in the condition of her carrying a baby for another man who did not marry her. And the man got discouraged. And that is how she missed it. So, in this case, what she had lost is more expensive than what she had gained for fornicating. These are the things many people do not really understand. Chances, opportunities, privileges. Her case is just one among many people, among many women who end up remaining single mothers. Not because, apart from the fornication life, some of them have at least manageable character for marriage. But fornication rendered them to become single mothers, because there are men with dignity. I know some people may just consider and ignore the situation and move on to marry her. Here, people marry single mother. Whosoever decides, whosoever at least sees a faithful lady as a single mother who is willing to live with him faithfully, the person should go ahead and marry. the person should go ahead and marry. But there are people who cannot really swallow the pride of their dignity and the prestige to marry some single mothers. There are single mothers who are better women than many people, than many other women who have no a child out of children out of wedlock. Yet, just because they are single mothers, many men cannot really accept to marry them, no matter how good, no matter how sexy they may appear. These are the part of the negative consequences. There are a lot and lot of things to talk about. This lady who have reported she lost the confidence to make the father of her daughter known to her daughter. All these things are the negative consequences because she is not proud of the man she has given birth of a daughter to out of wedlock, which means she is not proud of herself in that situation. But why should people continue to engage into what they cannot be proud of? Because of lust for sex. It may be lust for money. Some people have the sex for money. Some people have it for whatever. And some people do it out of naiveness. Some people, maybe the man will promise them, I will marry you. Then you give yourself to the man. But God says, do not commit adultery. Do not commit fornication, sexual immorality of all sorts. To make the matter worse, in this Gen Z generation, among this Gen Z generation, or this Gen Z time we are living in, the majority of women, young women, and young men have come to conclude, or to believe and conclude, that it doesn't make sense for a woman to stay without having sex. And they have come to believe that it is a routine, it is an obligation, and it is a conventional event that young boys, young girls should be having sex, in essence, to locate who will marry them. They have come to believe that it is impossible for a woman to stay without having sex to any man, and the man will just come and marry the woman. It is not sex that really determines real marriage. What determines real marriage is good character of the two people. If a girl is a good girl and marries a wrong man, it is a problem. If a man is a good man and marries a bad girl, it is a problem. If a bad girl and a bad man get married together, it is also the worst. It takes two good people to make a good marriage. And without the principle of God, without God on the lead in any marriage, there will always be agonizing problems rising from it. Look at this lady now complain that she developed a psychological trauma. Likewise, her daughter, to the extent that she was no longer confident to live in her home country, Cameroon, and she had to travel to UAE to start a new life. All of these things are sourcing from the fornication she had. And in the end, to console herself and for her to appear a superior, to have achieved better than the man, and to try to body shame the man, she said she rejected the man. She refused the man to come and be fathering her daughter. That her husband is a father to her daughter. That is a celebration of mediocrity. It is just by the grace of God that the man has decided to accept the whole situation, but it is not the best. Why should a man who will marry someone, the person who impregnated her, she carried her 9 months of pregnancy and gave birth to, ignored her, neglected her. Then another man came and married. So I don't want to go deep so that I will not get the man, the real husband, irritated and provoked. In the real sense, after she has given herself to someone who impregnated her, we hear about the pregnancy for 9 months. We don't hear what they have already gone through before then. How long the man has been enjoying her. But to be honest with you, as a woman, irrespective of how you try to body shame the man can never really feel it. In as much as the man has seen your nakedness. Even whatever your husband is enjoying in your body, the man had already started it before him. So you can't body shame him. You are just trying to give yourself some courage. And it is a celebration of mediocrity. You want to come and celebrate. A man married you with a daughter you born for a different person. It is not the best. It should be excellent. The excellent is that you should remain a virgin. You should remain a virgin. And the man should marry you and enjoy everything about your punani. It is not after one body count, after two body count, after. I know some people will say, have I not tested a woman? I have tested women, not even women. But by the grace of God, I have come to realize myself. It is also wise that all of us realize ourselves and we stop it. We manage ourselves from where we are to where we go. Because when I was into that life, I was also encountering my own problems. People talk about the pleasures of immorality, pleasures of fornication and other sexual immorality, but they don't talk about the negative consequences. That is the reason I am having this kind of teachings. You know, even many pastors will tell you, once saved is forever saved. You can live your life anyhow you want. God is gracious. But here on earth, you'll be suffering the consequences to let you know that it is a lie. It is a lie. Those people encouraging you, a lot of them are satanic agents. And a lot of them are also gospel merchants. Gospel merchants, those who commercialize the gospel. They will just want to tell you what you love to hear, and in the end, they will use you to fund whatever they are doing. They use it to pull crowd, and they make money from the crowd. They can encourage anything people do. They will encourage fraud, and because the fraud people get a lot of money and donate a lot of money into the church. They will encourage drug cartels because the drug cartels make a lot of money and they donate to the church. They encourage prostitution because prostitutes get a lot of money and they donate to the church. They will end up driving private jets. What have you? you are the people who will suffer for it. Don't let anybody to keep on encouraging you in your sin. So I am making this kind of expository teaching so that it will become more evidence and you be understanding the wisdom of God, the wisdom of Christianity, the wisdom of the Bible, the wisdom of Jesus Christ, and the wisdom in my teaching. Likewise, other genuine teaching. Every sin has a negative consequence. And everybody in this life bear the responsibility of his or her wrong action. That was some of the things that many people are suffering in life today are just as a result of the ungodly life they are living in different ways, even without them understanding it. That is the reason when Adam trespassed with Eve to eat the God prohibited fruit, he removed them from the Garden of Eden. They lost all of the privileges, opportunities. They have to go and start a new life, and they had to suffer to get what God had given them free initially. That is living in permissive way through lust. So that is exactly, even as the lady is complaining, it is not yet all right with her. She is still agonizing that situation. And she can never forget that man who impregnated her, irrespective of every pretense. She only tried to come here to body shame the man to make believe that she had really made it and make it better than that man. Whether the man makes it or not, her daughter is her daughter. She has already enjoyed the banana even before the man who really married her. But let me not go far more than that. God bless you. Remember the book. By the grace of God, the book will soon be available. Lost and Their Problems from Points of Reality. This book gives you the detailed explanation of all different kinds of lost and the problems. So what I'm giving you here is just a hint. This is available right now in Amazon, which many of you, my followers, know. This the Olivet prophecy, Matthew 24, the prophecy of Jesus Christ in regard to end time prophetic signs that herald the end time between now, the rapture, and the pro-rapture great tribulation. So if you want to be learning and understanding the Bible accurately and very quickly, you have to be following this channel and be listening to every video that I drop. Also be buying my written articles, these books, be buying them, be reading them, and be grabbing the information, the insights. One of the greatest problems of many Christians is Bible illiteracy. So I have come to educate not only the Christian, the whole world. May God bless you. I remain your serviceable servant, Evangelist Nima Carlo.